Hey guys, hey, my name is Sharika and I was diagnosed with cancer in 2024 and I am now 2 years cancer free. One of the questions that I get often is, how did I know? How did I know there was something wrong with my body? How did I know to go get tested? So, first off, I will say that I wasn't someone who checked my breast often. I just didn't. I didn't really think about it. And so, as my answer won't be like so direct, like how did I know I went got a mammogram, boom, they found it. It won't be like that. And so, a backstory on how did I find out? Of course, the doctors confirmed it, but I listened to God. And how I found out was more so me coming in contact with multiple people. Um, if you don't know, I am a stylist and I service different clientele, and so a lot of people always tell me their testimonies. They've been a lot, and so I get a lot of insight on what's happening to many people. And so what happened during this time was I began to service clients that will open up to me, and they never share that story. They will open up to me, and it was about breast cancer. And it was like one after the other, one after the other. And about 4 or 5 people that I can remember shared their breast cancer story with me. And just like, wow. So we talked about that. And I remember many of them saying they wish they shared that story more. And just like, wow. One lady was like, because other people found out they had it, they could have found out sooner if she had shared her story more. And so during that time, I kept hearing guys say, check. I never forget. I went home one night, took a shower, and checked. And while I was checking, I felt about 5 abnormal lumps in my left breast. And so I checked my right one. I checked my right one because I felt like if the same thing would be in my right one, maybe what I'm feeling is normal, right? So I checked my right breast and nothing. What I felt was like the little, the crunch balls, little clusters, crunch balls. That's what it felt like. So there were like little cluster crunch balls in my breast. And during that moment, I remember like, hey, this is why so many people was talking to me about cancer. I'm gonna have to get checked out, right? So I called my PCP. He declined me. I called him again. He said there's no history of breast cancer. I'm only 38. He don't recommend getting tested until I'm 40. That's another story, right? Um, so moving forward, and I'll get back to the other story, maybe another time. But how did I know was because I listened to what guy was putting in my face. And hearing those women's story was God giving me comfort. Not only just saying like this is what I'm going through, but giving me comfort that I was gonna be okay. But the one thing I do remember asking God was, if this is it, what is it you want me to do with it? And in that moment, I learned that I was to share the testimony that I was about to have. Finally went to someone and she was like, yeah, come in, and confirmed that there was a concern. Just by her feeling there was a concern, she put all my paperwork in, so that I can get the mammogram done or whatnot, everything that I needed, biopsy, blah, 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 blah. So May 3rd, I never forget, it's my niece's birthday. I went to the doctor and they had to let me know that it was cancer. And so they're talking to me, they're telling me my diagnosis, and I actually had two types of cancer, one which was also invasive. And that it was gonna take about 2 months or so before I can get in for any type of surgery. And so when the guy left, my navigator nurse came over to me and she was like, "Are you okay?" Uh, yeah, it was kind of like confirmation of what I already felt like I knew. But I wouldn't even say what I felt like I knew, but what I knew. But like I said, I don't want to say like I claimed it, but I did hear God say this is about to be my testimony. But you still, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, and I'm showing you these people to let you know they survived it. But you're gonna take this testimony, and then you are going to share it. And so that's why I'm here. Y'all know I don't normally, you know. So she asked me. She was like, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And so she said, "Don't worry about them 8 weeks, 2 to 3 months he's talking about. I'm putting a note on your documents in your file, and we're gonna get you in as soon as possible. I'm gonna make sure this is it." I had my surgery in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, four? No, man, June. No, I had my surgery in 4 weeks. I had my surgery June 4th. That's my surgery date. And I looked on my notes, and I didn't know that they actually document like your reaction, your response, like how you obtaining the information, like how you responding to it. And I think things like calm, good spirit, just yada yada yada. And not that it was weird to me, I just didn't know that that's what they did. But it was like, why not be in good spirit? This thing is happening in me. It was nothing that's really happening to me. Like, it wasn't changing me in a bad way. But the cancer journey, I will say, I would probably only had to dig deeper into that journey had I not been obedient with sharing my testimony. God knows what's going to move us. He knows the exact amount of what we need to endure to push forward, to push past what's going on in our life. And I strongly believe that. This up is that how did I know I had cancer was because God put people in He put people in my chair that survived cancer, that went through it and survived it. But there was also those people that was in my chair wasn't speaking about that story. And when I went along through my journey, There's not a time where I question God, why me? Because why not, right? Like, who am I to not have something like this happen? But the one thing that I did ask, and I remember like it was yesterday, even though it was just 2 years ago, but I asked God, what is it you want me to do with this journey? And so here I am, y'all. I am openly on a video sharing my journey and how I found out that I had cancer. And I hope this video help someone else pay attention to any signs in their body, any signs or any voice they may hear from God, anything that they may feel is abnormal or kind of weird, or like this ain't so. Like, don't be in denial. It's okay to check and let's pray about it and stay faithful, y'all, and just know that cancer doesn't define you. It has helped me bring forth the person that I'm actually destined to be, the person that I was created to be. Speaking to those women, after my journey went on and there was confirmation and I got through, what was happening, they told me they wish they shared that journey and to speak up about it. And I never forget, like, because I'm shy. So I don't normally talk in the camera. I don't talk in front of people. But in every aspect of the journey, I was learning that I needed to warn people. I needed to talk about it. I needed to share my testimony because I know what I went through was not just, to be going through it. It was so that other people could be aware, that other people could stand up for themselves, be their own advocate. It was for other people to pay attention to their body, other people to listen to that voice when they heard something is wrong. Other people, it was to help other people to get through something that they may be going through. And so it was a blessing in disguise. And I say that because a lot of times people hear cancer as, yes, it's a deadly disease. We hate it. It's a disease we hate. But to be pulled from that to experience the miracle that God works in your life it's it's unexplainable. As you know, I did not go through chemo. I did not go through radiation. The surgery was done in less than 2 months after finding out. And ever since then, every time I shared it, someone asked me about it. Someone who need insight. And there have been times where I felt like my journey wasn't really intense enough to help someone else. And then that's when I realized that I would only have to go deeper into that trial had I not been obedient with sharing my testimony. God knows what's going to move us. He knows the exact amount of what we need to endure to push forward, to push past what's going on in our life. And I strongly believe that. I love you. And I just hope that this reaches someone who needs it, and someone who can just jump on board and share that story. God bless.